So in terms of data security, there has also been some changes, significant changes in, for example, the updates on iOS and even Google Chrome, for example.
Yeah, so we had a lot of change in the way that we gain access to data. What's the important part to understand is that data is an integral part of how we do advertising today, right? Because it's like one of the main advancements actually of advertising in the 21st century, how much data we're able to get back from the people who view an ad. For example, just like 20 years ago, your only options would be places where people react to the ad, but you don't get to see it, right? If somebody reads a newspaper article about your business, you don't get to understand how many people have actually read that specific article in the magazine. You can kind of gauge it by how many people bought the magazine and some statistics that the magazine publishers themselves may put up. But you have no real way of knowing exactly how many people actually saw your ads, and even less information about what they did after seeing that ad. And so this is what has changed a lot in the 21st century. We're able to understand much more about the behavior of the people seeing the ads, and then we can optimize who we show the ads to based on that data. So any impact on the amount of data that we're able to collect as advertisers is definitely going to be noticeable, and the changes have been quite drastic in the last years. You already mentioned the iOS 14 Plus, right? So basically, for those who didn't hear about that before, starting from iOS 14, Apple has made changes to the way that apps on the operating system are able to basically read data from the user that's using the device. The way that has changed is that now for every app that you install on your iPhone, you will get a prompt asking you whether you want to accept that app to track you or you decline it. And obviously many people are declining that because they don't really understand, and that's well, normal if you're from outside the industry, but most people don't really understand what that means. To be tracked sounds pretty bad, right? So most people don't want to be tracked, right? And so there's a lot of data that advertisers like us are now missing that we would have otherwise gotten if we, for example, place an ad inside of a mobile app, which is a possibility that we have via native ad frameworks, but also via some of the major platforms like Google and Meta. You can actually put your ads into mobile apps, for example. And so wherever people are declining is where we lose data right now because of those updates.
As you are missing out a significant amount of data, how would you say you handle it?
The good thing is that it's very much in the interest of these very big advertising platforms like Meta, like Google, like TikTok or ByteDance or whatever. They really want us as advertisers to be successful, right? That's how they make their money. So obviously they're working with these new changes, right? And they have found new ways that can be brought in accordance with these new regulations. And so even though there has been quite a significant loss of the data that we can gain directly from users, we now have ways to extrapolate data that we get from the users that we can track. And we're able to extrapolate that data to make up for some of the loss of the original data that we would have gotten from the people who opt out of tracking.
Lukas, in the ever-developing markets, I've recently noticed a significant move towards short-form content. How would you rate this? Is everything going back there, or like moving towards the short-form content?
So of course with especially with TikTok, right, and then all of the platforms that kind of copied that trend, like Instagram Reels, and YouTube has Shorts, and of course Snapchat has been around for even much longer than all of these platforms. But basically the trend definitely that we are in right now is a trend of short form content, right? So I would recommend every business, every person who is interested in marketing, everybody who is trying to get attention online, to at least try out short form content and to utilize it as much as possible.
Do you see their connection with the attention span at all? Are people changing? Are interests changing?
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, you can like read psychological studies on that about how attention span is changing. I think the fundamental thing is that people got used to it, right? And whatever people are used to at the current moment is usually what works at the current moment. So if right now everybody is doing short form content and you're not doing short form content, you're gonna stick out. Now you can stick out in a positive way. And I think that there's opportunity for people who do long form content right now just because there's less competition. But if you want to like go with the system, you want something that goes well with the advertising platforms, with your potential partners, it's going to be attractive for people if there's short form content involved. So I would say that attention span is obviously a thing that we have to pay attention to, but I mean, people are still watching like 4-hour YouTube videos, people are listening to 30-minute podcasts, binge watching 2 seasons of a show on Netflix. So yeah, I think short form definitely is stronger than it's ever been, but I don't think that people's attention span makes it completely impossible to be successful with long form content.
All things considered, Lukas, what would you recommend to any digital business right now in the changing industry?
Number one is definitely stick to your strengths and don't let any trend or any development defer you from that, because people make up things to be more dramatic than they are. People will tell you that, you know, because something got slightly more complicated, something got slightly harder to do, that it's impossible now, right? So I would say that if you have a working system, don't let any change of trends make you completely overrule that system. And then secondly, if you do want to consider the current trends and you do want to kind of make use of them, I can only really tell you the same thing that everybody should already be aware of, which is, you know, make content, get out there in any way possible.